All right. We'll see how long it stays live. All right. Welcome back. 100th Monkey here. Oh my gosh, do I have stuff to go over. So much stuff. Sitting under a coconut tree, literally sitting under a coconut tree. Wasn't waving a flag, wasn't doing anything, just sitting there. You got to go put a mask on. You want to tell me what law you're referring to? Nope. He just put on here Rule 4 or something. Really, a rule. Anyway, I'm gonna have a fun time. Let's see here. So one of the many things. Oh my goodness, where do I even start? Let's see here. That's why I wasn't here last Sunday, because I was doing having a fun time. I'm gonna put some videos underneath from Tarik, and the Moors are getting all fired up. See, and this is the thing. They can't get anybody to get their status. I got some stuff here, get their status changed to help along with this whole thing that's going on. Just realized that it seems a little dark in here. Let's see here. So Title 42 is going to come in handy. Title 18 definitely going to come in handy. Take a look at Title 18-242, Coloring of Law. But there's a lot more than that, and I'll cover that in a little bit here. Let's see here. Title 42, Civil Conspiracy. I think you can look at. Anyway, just look up under Title 42. There's all kind of fun stuff. You can get personal damages there. Let's see here. And then there's all the crazy things that are going on the national front with the SEAL team and that finally coming out. That's no surprise to many of us. No surprise whatsoever. If you have been following along, you knew that, yeah, they basically killed those people. Some of our finer soldiers stuck them all in one slow-moving chopper and shot it down. How easy was that? Let's see here. We find that the overwhelming majority of people that have contracted the coronavirus wore masks. Yeah, they were following their stupid mask mandates and still got the virus. That's a fact. That's not... Anyway, you see that now it has become super clear. Well, I don't know. For some of you, maybe not. But for most of you watching here, I'll bet you, you have figured out that the media is less than honest. In fact, if the media tells you it's true, it probably isn't. And if they tell you it's false, it probably is true. Simple. Let's see here. What else we got going on? But I mean, the censorship has just gone stupid. They censor the New York Post. They censor the president. They literally think they can do whatever they want, and that you guys will bend over and take it. And they're pretty much correct, because I noticed that most people will put the mask on without much of a issue. If you can get you to do that, and as I've been doing, as more time goes by, more and more people do a little research, and they found that, yeah, in times past, getting the population to put veils and masks on makes them a lot more docile. Also a little fluoride in the water, and here we are. So let's see here. Also under Title 42, let's talk about deprivation, civil action for deprivation of rights in the U.S. Code. If I can read these to you. Every person who, under color of any statute, ordinance, regulation, custom, or usage of any state or territory, or the District of Columbia, subjects or causes to be subjected any citizen of the United States or other person within the jurisdiction thereof to the deprivation of any right, privileges, or immunities secured by the Constitution and laws, shall be liable to the party injured in an action at law. Doesn't say of law, it says at law. Learn the difference. Okay? These are these are private corporations operating at law and operating upon the land in the public. Right? So they're private, but they operate in the public. Let's see here. Did I finish? An action at law, suit in equity, or other proceeding for redress, except that in any action brought against a judicial officer for an act or omission taken in such officer's judicial capacity. Injunctive relief shall not be granted unless a declaratory decree was violated or declaratory relief was unavailable. For the purpose of this section, any act of Congress applicable exclusively to the District of Columbia shall be considered to be a statute of the District of Columbia. 42 U.S.C. 1985, conspiracy to interfere with civil rights, U.S. Code. This is a fun one also, right? Because you have, and this is a long one, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but there it is. Go look it up at 42 U.S.C. 1985. I'll read the shorter ones. How about 18 U.S.C. 241, conspiracy against rights? If two or more persons conspire to injure, oppress, threaten, or intimidate any person, and that's what I felt like saying while I was sitting under that coconut. I'm being oppressed. Anyway, but we had it couldn't have been a more cordial exchange. Let's put it that way. However, the police officer seemed completely unaware of this, and you should be aware of this, he said, grabbing his trusty, because my vision is not so good no more. Federal case. So grab a pencil and paper, and you can go back and watch this again and slow it down. Let's see here. So federal case number, what do I want here? I want 6:MC-MC-00101-EFM. That's a federal case. Requires law enforcement officers to provide these documents first. Not second. No, just think. This is basically what happened. Guy offered me a contract. I stamped it with a stamp that says, without prejudice, UCC 1308, and I wrote no contract on this offer to contract. All right. But if you're going to, just polite, just in regular commerce, right? And I was not engaged in commerce at the time of the controversy. I was just sitting down, so there was no commerce there for him to police. But anyway, the idea being is that, and you'll also notice that Chicago Rule Style Manual is everything in here in a box. Everything is in a box. Everything is in a box. Can't read this. Can't make it out. And does not follow the style of process for the state of Hawaii. In fact, it doesn't say the state of Hawaii anywhere on here. It just says state of Hawaii. Usually it says state of Hawaii in all caps. Anyway, so it doesn't follow a style of process. Was not engaged in commerce. Can barely make this thing up. Anyway, but the federal case law says that law enforcement officers are required to provide those documents first, right? They got to identify themselves before they ask you for ID. That should be as simple as that. Hi, I'm Officer so-and-so from the Maui County Police Department, which is a private corporation. He didn't know that. He didn't know he was bonded. He didn't know he had license. He didn't know anything. So I just was like, are you going to, am I going to sit there and argue with the guy? And there's three armed men, large armed men, right? They're carrying guns. That's probably the piss poor time to argue, even though it's Maui. And even though it was classic. I was sitting at a Trump rally. I was observing a Trump rally from a distance, more than 6 feet away from everybody. Much more than 6 feet away from everybody. And I'll admit that. Across the street was Antifa. They didn't hassle those guys at all. Very interesting. And it's the Antifa guys that'll shoot them in the head when the day comes. Let's see here. So those, they've got to identify them first, right? They need an identification card, like some kind of ID card, maybe a business card, badge number. He finally gave me that. He put that on the ticket afterwards, not previous to. Let's see, his bond number, which he said he didn't have a bond. I'm like, well, actually, yes, you do, but we'll get to that in court. Name, address, and phone number of the bonding company, right? And then, of course, risk management and names and address, because risk management is going to be informed. You'll also be required to provide proof of compliance with public law. You got your pencil or pen. Public Law 92-500, Section 2. That's SEC 2. You can look them up. And Section 301, 306, and 307 at workplace and at home. So basically, look it up. It's Public Law 92-500, Section 2, Section 301, Section 305, and Section 307. All right. That's lawful notice. And then there's a bunch of the Title 15, fraud and misleading statements. Let's see here. Title 42, conspiracy civil. Title 42, obstruction of evidence and witness. Won't with that one. Title 42, deprivation of evidence and witness. Let's see here. Title 18, 1961, RICO violations. Not going to go there. Title 18-242, coloring the law, absolutely going there. Let's see here, because it's color of law. There is no, I looked it up. I do not see anything in the state of Hawaii that says that I'm required to wear a mask while I'm outside, more than 6 feet away from people. Simple as that. So they're trying to say that, he was trying to say that because I was at a Trump rally, I needed to wear a mask. Okay. Let's see here. And I got so much. I got so much. I don't know if I can cover it all fast enough. Let's see here. And of course, the day that I'm all ready for bear here and got all kinds of stuff, I have two people watching. Hi, Angela. Okay, let's see here. And I think I'm going to have to go back to making other kind of videos where I just upload it. This is the lazy way of doing it, right? I just go straight to video. Oh, and then you can also see over here. If you go back and read some papal bulls in 1493 and 1495, again, I'm doing more research on the fact that the freaking Pope thinks he owns you. Well, he doesn't think. If you don't say any different, he does. But it all goes, all those roads lead to Rome, all of them. So find out about the papal bulls and the trust that they set up. Anyway, this is more information. Remember last time it was 1302, 1305. Actually, I have them here. Let's see here. But I got look, my sheaf of notes just continues to get thicker and thicker and thicker. Also, what you need to do is reclaim the fact, or reclaim your estate and claim the fact that you're an elector. 1302, there you go. Boniface the 8th. And 1307. Oh, that was Friday the 13th. That was when they got rid of the Templars being pesky in the way. 1325, Unum Sanctum, right? Right of use to you, basically. But anyway, from 1300 to about 1495, the Roman Catholic Church went crazy and claimed the whole planet. Everybody. To include you in perpetuity, forever and ever. Amen. Okay, so you might want to tell them, no, I'm my claim. And see, here's the thing. And they recognize this. Even Lucifer recognizes this. Even the Satan recognizes the fact that he has to trick you into using your free will to do evil. They have to trick you into surrendering your free will with that signature, right? So grandma told you, I don't know, well, maybe your grandma didn't, but my grandma told me, you don't sign anything, right? If you don't know what you're signing, don't sign a fucking thing. But yeah, you sign everything. You use your social security number, the transmuting number, to sign and get all kind of documents, even though it says right on there, don't use it for ID and don't you rent. But anyway, you do it anyway because everybody else does. Let's see here. So anyway, you have to write a little letter. And see, I'm getting the letter together. Oops, I haven't finished it yet, but it needs to go in. You need to write some declarations. Some of those declarations are really simple, and I'm do it for yourself after you've done your research. But the idea is that you need to reclaim your estate and your birthright, which means you need to introduce yourself, and then you have to have them recognize the fact that you are. Right? So I've been doing the research and all the different things I want to put in the letter. This is basically got a half a page here of notes. Basically, I'm not a U.S. person, not a 14th Amendment citizen. Let's see. I formally claim my voting and veto rights over my own estate. Let's see. I'm a living man, not a legal fiction. Let's see here. I'm authorized to represent these different names, right? The all caps name that's on the birth certificate and all the derivatives thereof, like, with initials or with the last name first and so forth. Anyway, I have authorization to claim, to represent all of those things. And my claim is superior to the other claims. But not if you don't tell them. You got to tell them. Let's see here. You should claim your ancestry if you have it. And that's pretty easy. Who were your mother and father? And who were their parents? So anyway, claim your ancestry. Claim your nationality. Right? And guess what? U.S. person is not a nationality, technically. Let's see here. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Your social security number is your routing number, and you need an SS5 to get a social security number. You have to fill that out. Guess what? SS4 is the EIN number. 4 comes before 5. Oh, also this. These things. And then you need to use not 8 by 14, not 8.5 by 11 for your documents when you send them in. Let's see here, and then put them in the green on the green thing, or in the green jacket. Let's see here. So, oh, by the way, the Social Security number is in fact a claim on your estate, but it is not a superior claim. However, you need to acknowledge that claim and state your claim as a superior claim. Simple as that. And then we find out after looking through this that, yeah, this whole nation state thing may not be what you think it is, because turns out the UN is, yeah, it gets a little nebulous on who the United States is and so on. I'll put a video underneath with people who have done a whole lot more research on that, and I don't want to butcher it. I need to go back and look over some of that stuff. But yeah, you need to declare. This is the important thing. You need to make declarations, just like how our founding fathers made a Declaration of Independence. First, they made some declarations, and then they went down some other paths to supposedly creating a nation state for themselves. They made a club, and they made it hard to get into the club, basically, and they hired out people that to do their legal business. Right, to handle, and that is the United States corporation and the states that you know of that you consider, right? But all of those states are domiciled in Washington, D.C. Let's see here. Let me go through and look at a few more notes that I've been taking. Yeah. Oh, all right. That was going to be the topic of another talk that I did before, and I never really got around to it. When I watched the video, I didn't get it. Many names. There you go. So they call you many things, and you get confused. Geez, where are all of it? Right. So they'll name it many different things, and then you can't figure out that it's the same thing. And see, I have to come up with to do a little meditation on that and come up with some examples so you can see. But basically, yeah, they try to call you a person, a corporation, etc. But no, they're all referring to you. They try to call a nation state this and that. I mean, they just come up with numerous names, synonyms that mean the same thing. And then you get to the point where you think that all these many different things are the same thing too. And it turns out not, right? So, like you think that a U.S. person and a man is the same thing. No, it's not. You might think that Hawaii State and State of Hawaii are the same thing, or that right? I mean, but there are many others, and I had a list. I should find that and write them down. But I mean, there's many cases, not just that. But I mean, when it comes to you think law, statute, and rules and regulations are all the same thing. It's not all the same thing. They're not. Calling the Chinese, the Manchurians calling themselves the Chinese. That's another thing. They use many names to confuse us because they know that we're not educated. Oh, and then over here, the way this works, and now, okay, so this, and see, again, stare decisis. This is not up for adjudication. Nobody needs to rule on this. The judge doesn't need to, right, anything. This is basically how it is. How it is we have this thing called the Constitution, okay? You are not party to that Constitution. You and I are not party to the Constitution. So since you're not party to the Constitution, well, the documents exist. Who is party to the Constitution? Oh, they are. They have oaths of office. And their oaths of office are to defend and protect and uphold those constitutions. Why? Because those constitutions basically reflect the... every time I make a video, doesn't matter what time, it is morning here on Saturday. And... as you can see, like I said, it was never like this before, quote unquote, lockdown. And we finally just started having tourists come back. But yeah, ever since that, we've been having problems. Anyway, there is the article, this thing called the Constitution, which they're sworn to uphold, which is there to protect our inalienable rights, right? It's not there, it doesn't give us right. Like I said, and I've said numerous times, they don't have anything to give you. If they give you money, they took it from somebody else. They don't make money. They have no way, right? Even though the various state organizations and counties and so forth, those are for-profit organizations, which have DUNS numbers and everything. Go look up the DUNS numbers. But the idea being is that Article 6 of the Constitution says quite clearly, you know what? I'll just read it to you. Do I have it up handy? If I don't, I should. Hold on a second here. But Article 6 basically says that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and then there is a hierarchy where it goes, and the way or how your quote-unquote law works. And this is Article 6. And I mean, there's huge amounts of wordage and verbiage around, and I didn't get to all the U.S. codes, but the fact that first Constitution, then federal, which is why that federal case is important, where it says that you need to show your ID before you try to contract. Then state, then local laws, right? But there is a hierarchy. So the Constitution reigns supreme in this land of ours. But again, you're not a party to this Constitution. The governments that have been set up, and those are they governments or are they private corporations, right? So that's what I mean. Many names. You think that Hawaii State has some kind of authority over you, and I can go down the road where, yeah, that becomes very nebulous if you try to get them to prove their authority. They have a hard time doing that. You need to learn this statement. Refused for cause. Understand special law as opposed to right and sort of positive law. Let's see here. I'm not going to cover this. I'm not going to cover this. Too much to cover. Yeah, I'm not going to cover that either. 1854 convention. Oh, and by the way, Philadelphia. Yeah, that's the de jure place. So basically what you're going to try and do is, understand the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Now, here's the thing, too, is that this Constitution also states in Article 1, Article 6, various places, read the damn thing. And again, you're not party to it, but you need to understand the document, that all the treaties that come before, that's what that Constitution is designed to do. It's there to protect and uphold the treaties that came before. Right? And most of those treaties talk about your inalienable rights. Most of those treaties talk about the fact that a man or a woman has the right to do this and that. You have the right to marry. You have the right to raise your life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, all that stuff, right? Okay, that's the Constitution that they're supposed to uphold. You're not a party to that thing. They are. So that's why you ask for their oaths of office. And every oath of office, I should read that in the Constitution for the state of Hawaii. Basically, and I've put this in there, where they have in order to be a judge, in order to be a police officer, in order to be, I think even on the school board, in order to be any kind of officer of any kind, they have to swear an oath to uphold and protect the Constitution. All right, so then your job is to know what is in that Constitution. And then you need to understand contract law, because if you're going to try and understand their millions and millions and millions of statutes, you're going to have a bad time. So basically, let me read to you, this is very specific from the Hawaii Constitution. And ours is different because ours is the only constitution. The Hawaii State Constitution is the only constitution that is based on another document that wasn't the American Constitution. It is also the Constitution for a foreign country known as Kingdom of Hawaii, or the Hawaiian Kingdom. As soon as they put the oven there, things change. But let's see here. Let's start with the very beginning. We, the people of Hawaii, grateful for divine guidance and mindful of our Hawaiian heritage and uniqueness as an island state, dedicate our efforts to fulfill the philosophy decreed by the Hawaiian state motto, Umau ke ia ka aina I ka pono, which is the life of the land is perpetuated in righteousness, basically, is what that means. Anyway, so Article 1, the Bill of Rights. That's what it starts out. Ours starts out with the first article, right? Others, their articles are, I mean, if you go look at your main, your Constitution for the United States of America, and the difference between the Constitution for the United States of America and the Constitution of the United States. Right? Notice how the Constitution of the United States ends, whereas the Constitution for the United States of America seems to go after, anyway, you hear the difference in the words. But anyway, so Article 1, all political power of this state is inherent in the people. There is our sovereignty right there. Sovereignty is not inherent in the person, but in the people. Right? Sovereignty isn't a singular, it is a plural. That's important, friends. Rights of individuals. All persons are free by nature. Boom. Right? And have their, right? And are equal in their inherent, inalienable rights, right? And it says it right here, right? This is the Hawaii State Constitution I'm reading from. Among these rights are the enjoyment of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I believe sitting underneath the coconut tree, watching my son be amazed that these Trump supporters were not everything that he was told, which is part of the reason why we went there, because they were just having a fun time dancing around, waving signs. They're not all evil racists, especially not in Hawaii. Most of them, a lot of brownies, a lot of brownies, and some really good-looking women dancing to the music. Who have normal colored hair and anyway, not fat and not pierced and not tatted. Anyway, I was having a fun time watching my son enjoy himself at a distance. We were not participating. I can't participate. I'm not a U.S. person. Therefore, I can't vote for the guy anyway, and I couldn't vote for the other guy either. But now it's become a moral issue. It should be very clear that this is no longer just left or right or Republican or Democrat. It's morals. These are people that will abort a baby in the 9th month. These are people that will withhold evidence that proves a man is innocent. Just like that's Kamala. That's also anyway. They knew Trump. Anyway, those people that will withhold evidence in order to get a conviction. Yeah, that's no longer. We're no longer in the. We're in the just wrong. Right? It's no longer just Republican or Democrat. Let's see here. Section 3, equality of rights under the law shall not be denied or abridged. Okay, and all of this is just reflective of your Constitution, whatever state you're in, will say similar things. Right? But basically, what does it do? It is the protection of your inalienable rights. No law shall be enacted, and you'll notice that ours are different than our First Amendment. The first thing they talk about is this one. This is Section 4 in the Hawaii State Constitution, which reflects the First Amendment in the Constitution that you're more familiar with. No law shall be enacted respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. All right, this isn't difficult. You can't say, oh, you can exercise this right if you follow this other statute. Right? This is cut and dried. This is going to be so cut and dried, it's ridiculous. Not to mention I have failure of due process. And then guess what? Constitutional violations, rather pricey. For that one, it's like $25 million. Let's see here. Due process and protect. Let's see here. Section 5. This is due process. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So did he follow due process? Did he introduce himself? Did he follow the federal law that says that he needed to identify himself and tell me all this other? No, they didn't. So we already right there, we have failure of process, but that's, see, what that guy say? Those that understand these things will love those things. Those that don't are going to hate it. Anyway, long story short, I got him dead to rights, and now we'll just see. And see, we're going to start at the lower level, and we'll work our way up. Also, like I said, there's so much I want to cover. The next, what was it? It's, let me see if I can find that. So much. See, this is the thing. It takes, but the beautiful thing now is that we have this thing called the internet, and finding all this information is super duper, super easy because you just type it in. And it's, again, Title 42 where it basically tells you that you have the right to sue, right? That you can start a case in federal court. But let's see here. Conspiracy to interfere with civil rights is 42, 1985. I think I already read that, and that's a long one. 18 U.S.C. 241, conspiracy against rights. If two or more people conspire. 18 U.S.C. 242, deprivation of rights under color of law. That's a great one, and it's short. Go back and read that. 18 U.S.C. 245, federal protected activities. Peaceable assembly is a federally protected activity. Exercising your basic constitutional rights that are covered. And again, they're not your rights. The constitutions are written to protect your inalienable rights that you already had. That takes you back to Article 6, which talks about the fact that you have that they have to, honor the treaties that came before. It's also Article 1 that they have to honor those treaties, and it's not that convoluted. It's actually pretty simple. Let's see here. Yeah, can I find any more? I can't think I can find any more. Shoot. Oh, and then let's see here. The CGI fly. I'm scrolling on my own page because I posted all this stuff here so that it would be easy for me to find. And I think that'll cover it. But anyway, the idea is stay within the contracts. Stay upon your square. And see, this is the thing. If you're on your square, and I was on my square, I was just sitting there, wasn't doing anything. I wasn't disturbing peace. I wasn't causing anybody any harm. I wasn't causing anybody any loss. There was no mischief in the contracts except for the contract that was offered to me. Let's see here. So when you walk into a courtroom, and you need to understand general law and special law, but basically because they have special law, which is what your local codes are, it applies to particular person, places, or things. That's special law. That's not positive law. Positive law applies to everybody. And general law is the law in general. Like generally, you're not allowed to murder anybody. I don't care what municipality you're in, where you are. Murder is illegal. All right. So that's generally the law. All right. Now, the special law is more like, certain persons, places, or things are going to be mentioned in a law that says, certain persons can't go to the beach with their boom boxes if it's see, we have two kinds of beaches here. We have state beach parks and we have county beach parks, and the laws are different for both of them. So if you're in the county, if you're on county property, and what they claim to be county property, there is no such thing. But let's just play along. And okay, you can't drink in a state park, but you can drink in a county park. Alcohol, like beverages, if you are of the age, right? Okay, and then there you go. There's some more special law that applies to 18, 19, 20, right? Depending on if you're 21. Now they say you can drink. If you're 18, you can no longer drink. There used to be a time, and this is the month that it happened, because I had a friend that turned, I believe it was October 1st is when the law went into effect, which was his birthday. So he was, and it took effect at midnight. So he was born on October 1st, and we were in a bar, and technically they were supposed to kick him out at midnight because, special law. Let's see here. Oh, legal disability. This is hugely important. All right. Okay. So understanding legal disability and understanding things that should not be joined. One of the legal disabilities out there, or in general, is age, right? Minority. When all these trusts and everything were set up for you, you were unable to sign. Your mark is on the document, though. I guarantee you, the original birth certificate has your footprint on, your soul is on that document. They took your little feet, put it in ink, and put it on there. I've seen these documents. I don't know where mine is. I have a copy of my birth certificate, but I don't have that original birth document that has my footprints on it. Matters not. I was not old enough to contract at the time. I was impaired legally. You should bring that up. Because I had a legal disability. I was a minor. Also, my signature does not appear, only a footprint. So a mark, right? That's also a mark. And so a mark and a signature, yeah. And then, if you understand the difference between a mark, a signature, and your autograph, now you're going to be having a good time. Let's see here. Yeah, and because the state doesn't give you any rights, they can't take away any rights. Very simple. Let's see here. That sounded vaguely important. Very simple, but it sounded vaguely important. Let's see here. Oh, this is always fun. All right, now this gets down, and see, you have to decide how much you want to talk about, but this is probably not something you want to bring up in court, but this is a fact that you can go check your own self. U.S. bankruptcy was 17 March 1983. This is chapter, what is it? Chapter H. Oh, no, excuse me. They're in chapter 11. And what is that? That's volume 33, H 1303. That's the congressional record. And the U.S. federal government is dissolved. And the Emergency Banking Act, 9 March 1933, 48 statute, public law 89-719. That's basically House Joint Resolution 192 that you've heard so much about, is the fact that the United States government has been dissolved, bankrupt, no longer in force. So what's all this hullabaloo about? Well, they've got you chained to the sky, don't they? Oh, do I want to cover that? Hey, about judges and the fact that here, I'll tell you what. You look this up yourself. It took me forever to write this down, and this is a couple of cases. But just look up FRC versus GE 281 US 464. Then look up Keller, Keller, I think. Anyway, Keller versus PE 261 US. So Keller versus PE 261 US 428-1 statute 138-178. Go look those up. We don't have any Article 3 judges, basically, is what we're saying here. These are all may or may not be qualified judges. But they're not going to tell you if you don't ask. And again, you want their oaths of office, and you want their W-9s, and you want their Form 990, and so on. This has been covered elsewhere. Let's put that over here. Let's see here. Yeah, what you're looking to become is an elector. The United States, you want to become a United States of America national, a state citizen, right? And then you want documents to reflect the fact. Let's see here. And also you want to claim the fact that you're not a federal employee, because what you're going to do is what you're basically doing is expatriating from the United States corporation. So you got to let the IRS, number one, one of the more important things to do is let the IRS know that you're a living man, and to change your status from decedent. What does decedent mean? To non-decedent. Right there should tell you that a lot of the stuff we're talking about here is not some crazy conspiracy theory. It's stare decisis. It's just that we're ignorant, right? Nobody taught us this in school. Of course they didn't teach us this in school. How the hell are they going to extract all that wealth from us if they inform us of our status and standing? All right. So restoration of estate. Let them know. Oh! Here, this is very important. Very, very important. All right. And again, stare decisis. They don't have the ability. Your free will must be preserved. All right. Now that doesn't mean that you have the free will to, do illegal, stupid stuff, and they can't do anything about it. That's not the case. You need to stay on your square, right? So you can't be out there busting windows because it's your free will. You can't be out there lighting shit on fire in the middle of the street saying it's your free will. That's not how this works. But if you are standing on your square, you have the ability to invoke your free will. You also need to understand that nobody can tell you. Can you give I have limited power of attorney, say at my postal place, right? He has the right to sign for packages and express mail and anything that needs a signature. So I have given him limited power of attorney. He can't sign checks for me. He can't sign other legal documents like a mortgage or something like that. But he can sign for my mail. Okay, so that's limited power of attorney. I have the right and authority to bestow my power of attorney on anybody I want. Right? To manage my estate. I can bestow my power of attorney to an attorney. I can bestow my power of attorney to a legal aid that happens to deal with trust and so forth, and because she needs to do paperwork or whatever. I'm just saying an example. I wouldn't stay away from trust, stay away from all that stuff. But you do what you do. But the idea is that you can give your power of attorney to anyone you like. You can also revoke your power of attorney. This is huge because they assume you're a subset. They assume that you have given them power of attorney. All right, so no, you haven't. You're taking back your power of attorney. All right, so they can't sign a damn thing for you unless you give them power of attorney. You might give the clerk of the court limited power of attorney to discharge certain things. But you can remove your power of attorney from any local, state, federal government agency, so forth. Right? Or you can give them, or you can tell them that their power of attorney expires after a certain. Anyway, but they don't have boo to say about who you bestow your power of attorney to, or who you revoke your power of attorney from. You have the right to vote. If you have the right to vote, you have the right to veto. But guess what? You only have one vote, and your vote is over your own estate. Now they try to get you through a voter registration to give up that. And say that you need representation and that you need, in order to be able to be registered to vote, that you can vote in your local elections, that you can vote in the state elections, that you can vote, like county council, etc. That you need representation there at the state level and, of course, at the federal level, which is the big thing that's coming up. And that, you're going to, and see, once you do that, once you give them that authority, that comes with a whole bunch of adhesion. That comes with a whole bunch of assumptions that, since you registered to vote, now we have power of attorney over your estate, as it were, that you didn't even know you had. Right? I mean, so what you need to do is revoke that. You have to absolutely going to have to revoke your voter registration. And people don't want to do that, right? Because right now, oh no, Trump, oh no, Biden, oh no, I got to vote. Oh, I have to vote for these people. Okay, go ahead and vote. If you vote really hard this time, things might change. Oh, I'll also put a couple of things. Did you notice the purge? Numerous stations, or well, I don't know what you want to call it, channels that I watch on YouTube are gone. Jordan Slather, that guy, I can pronounce his name or remember, is gone. Amazing Polly, gone. Millions of subscribers, gone. X22, gone. Shoot, I can't remember. I can't remember all of them. There's so damn many. But I mean, like, it's a long list that they just said, you're out of here. You're out of here. You're out of here. Right? We just purged you. You're out. All right. So there's BitChute. There's other platforms. And many of them knew it was coming. Edge of Wonder, for example, they absolutely knew it was coming. A bunch of other guys that basically said, oh, yeah, get on our email list so we can stay in touch with you and so forth. Because, yeah, they're going to deplatform us. That needs to change here very rapidly. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all of these deep state owned. They have your mind, right? They have anything you see. They want to be able to control anything you see. I'm amazed that I'm still here, right? Like I said, I'll stay here until originally I had told people, originally I had told people to get off of YouTube and start making our own and make other channels. But now it's a matter of just, fuck you. I won't do what you tell me. So since they haven't deleted me, well, then here. But eventually, all this information, so if you know how to download videos, you might want to download a couple of my videos, believe it or not, just because of the information in there, not because I'm so awesome, but because I freaking tell you about all that. I try to cite it and read it slowly so you can write it down and do your own damn research. But it's going to be Article 6 that starts off this whole thing. And then Article 1 talking about the fact that the Treaty of Peace and all the other treaties of peace and friendship and all the treaties that come before are the supreme law of the land. The Constitution is there to protect those treaties that existed before such time as United States Corporation took over in 1871, 1789 technically, but that wasn't really a corporation. That was actually a de jure nation-state government with very specific voting rights. Right, not everybody could vote in that government. Right, if you were, and certainly there were slaves, and certainly there were bonded free men, and certainly there were all kind of things going on there that we apparently have forgotten about because you weren't taught about in civics. Abraham Lincoln, study the cases that he did. Shoot, there's a case. Just look up Abraham Lincoln defends a Moor. Right? We weren't aware that there were such things as Moors. Do I have this handy? No, I do not have it handy. I've only got on my other browser, I've only got 30 things. Let's see if I can find it. No, but I could make a video over each one of these tabs that I have open right now. For example, let's find that first, if I can find it. One fast one. And, seek but you shall not find. Non-UCC recorded and unrecorded hidden security interest under Article 9 of the UCC. I wouldn't use too much of the UCC, that's the Talmud, but you should understand what's in it because they use the UCC. Do I want to talk about this? Let's finish one thing at a time. I did. Did I close that? I closed it. I have a ton of links, and I'm going to put links to links underneath here. And I guarantee you that this is going to be one of the last videos I make. We're getting close because they're going to get rid of me because they don't want you guys knowing this stuff. They don't want us knowing this. They just don't. It's not illegal or anything, and you probably won't get in trouble, but that doesn't mean that they won't shut it off. Like reclaiming your rights doesn't get you in trouble. Right? It's just, I'm sorry. The slaves are so chicken shit now that, I don't want to. All right. I can't find it. One more click, tap that tab. Oh, there it is. Yes, the Moorish Science Temple. So let's see here. When William Dungey, that's William, as in William, Dungey versus Joseph Spencer, a case. That's Abraham Lincoln. Look that up. That's William Dungey. I guess it's Dungey v. Spencer. I'll put a link underneath. But you should read over the fact that Abraham Lincoln had Moorish blood. Believe it or not, the Moors were a thing, and they have absolutely. This is how you know we lost. Right? Should have fought harder. They absolutely have done everything they can to erase the concept of the Moors. And then my people, who were a very strange people, the Christian Moors. Right? I'm a Christian. Right? I'm not a Islam. I'm not a Muslim Moor. I'm a Christian Moor. Rare breed that. But no, Christ Jesus. I'm a big fan. All right. And understand that and why? Because all the freaking law in this nation is not under the Quran. It's under the Bible. All of our law is Christian law. All of it. Right? We Judeo-Christian, no, not Judeo-Christian law, Christian law. This was a Christian nation, right? Our founding fathers were Christian Masons, right? Some of them, many of them were absolutely not Christians. They were Masons and they believed in that book, the Bible. But calling them followers of Christ would be stretching it by really stretching it till the bands break. Anyway, this book right here, my son. He's about halfway through it, and his only comment was, "I hate this book, Dad." If you think that our experience here in the United States is a one-off and that we're unique, and this is the first time any of this has ever happened, well, you're fucking fooling yourself, and you haven't done enough reading. He basically covers every fucking. And what did they do? They did medical tyranny because they know you guys are too chicken shit. Right? Because the doctors have a supreme authority to tell you to wear a mask and to tell you that you can't gather and to tell you that all of our law and all of the things that we fought for hundreds of years against the bankers are out the window now because they have supreme authority because of a virus. here an interesting book. I don't know if that. Yeah, that's a rather interesting document right there. This is not so cool. This is not as cool as I thought it was going to be. Turns out to be a rather thin thing. And actually, it's true because all of them. Let's just pick one for them. Law 57. Surround yourself only with those who are walking in the path of light. Successful people do not hang around broke people. That was written a long time ago, right? Don't hang around with broke big people. Simple as that. Oh, look, it gives you that secret handshake. Anyway, it's your little manual. These books are hard to come by. Or, well, they used to be hard to come by. Now, just go Amazon, look it up, and you can order it. They'll send it to you. You're on a list, by the way. Let's see here. How about Law 34? Continued success requires continued improvement. Right? That's absolutely, what was it? Tony Robbins, Canny, Constant and Never-Ending Improvement. Okay, and again, these are books that are, right, this, let's see here. So it's not, and you guys think it's all about Satan worship and sacrificing babies and all that. These people understand how your mind works better than you do, which is how they're able to get so many of your friends to put a mask on when they're driving by themselves in the car. Right? They understand that you look to authority. Right? Your newspapers and your TV and your whatever it is, however you consume media, those are authorities. ABC, NBC, CBS, those are authorities. They tell you what's true. Right? They know that you do this, so they use it against you. They know that you don't want to go through. I mean, look how fucking much notes this is. Right? And how many documents and books I've had to go through, and hours and hours and hours of watching videos and reading stuff. And then those videos, like, okay, well, after you get done with that, you got to read this. And then you got to read that. And then you got to know what the words mean here. They know you don't want to do that. They know you're lazy fucks. Right? We all are. There's many, right? It's a lovely day. I'd rather be at the beach. Fucking around, looking at girls with bikinis. Much rather be doing that than looking at this book. Right? How about this fucking behemoth right here? That took a while to read. I'll say it. And then it was like, still more to right? I mean, I fucking this much into it, and I still got that much more to go. Right? Okay, I read it once. I'm going to read it again. Right? They know you're fucking lazy. Barely educated with the ability, you can barely do mathematics, and you barely fucking understand English. Or whatever language it is. Right? They know this. And they're going to use it against you to extract wealth from you. Right? It's as simple as that. Okay. Oh, look, the page came out. I want a refund. Let's see here. Law 39. Don't be afraid to go to the desert. Wait a minute. Yep, that's what it says. Don't be afraid to go to the desert road alone. Right? And travel lightly. Travel lightly. It's right in here. And there's a little paragraph about it. I'm never going to the desert without water. Let's see here. Law 64. Right? Tell no lies and do not share the secrets of others. I mean, this is stuff you should have been brought up with. This is not, like I said, this is not about devil worship and Satan and so on. Those are principles that you live by that will make things happier and easier for you if you just stand on your square. And see, they want you to be that kind of person, not the kind of person that's like, fuck all, drinking, every Friday you're getting drunk, beating on your wife, or maybe your wife's beating on you. I don't know. Your kids are upstairs or downstairs or God knows doing whatever the fuck they want while you're scrolling on Facebook or whatever, or drinking, or just basically ignoring. No, all the time. There are many, many principles in there. All right. If we were all living by those principles, this world would actually be a pretty safe and happy place. But most of us are not. And again, they know this. They know. So what do? Then, since you are not virtuous enough for them, they take advantage of your vice and your virtue, right? And see what they've done to many of the Democrats who actually are. I know some very decent Democrat humans now who somehow have cognitive dissonance going on where, you mentioned the fact that the abortion in the 9th month, well, it's up to the parent. No, it's not. It's not up to the parents. It's not up to the doctor. At the 9th month, that baby should be born. Right? That's not me. That's general law. That's that, right? That's it, right? I have friends that were 6-month preemie. So to kill a baby in the 8th or 9th month, ugh, man, you people. The concept of, if you don't try to frame people, you don't take bribes. You don't start wars in countries where the people have done nothing to us because you want their resources, or because in Gaddafi's case, he was planning on fighting the New World Order. So they murdered him. And now his people are absolutely subjected to slavery. They're literally being sold for a few $100 in open markets in that nation, the black-skinned ones. The women, God, we set that. We bombed them back into the Stone Age. Us, right? We were part of that. You may be only 1/300 billionth part of that, but we were still part of that. We didn't stand up, right? Okay. Anyway, you don't do those are evil things. But this is not crazy talk, right? You just don't do evil. How hard is that? Anyway, let's see here. So and then I wanted to talk about this as some current events as I'm bit-bopping around here an hour in. One of the current events that happened that we are all aware of is these, and again, just understand, ain't no good guys in this fight. One team is a little better than the other team, I will say, but both teams are there to enslave you. Both teams have no interest in you understanding anything I just covered. No interest in you questioning jurisdiction. No interest in you claiming your estate and killing your bonds. They especially don't want you to kill your bonds, because if you kill your bonds, they ain't got no money to do anything. They don't print money out of thin air. They print money out of us. We are the surety, right? We are the bonded freemen. The bonds that they write on us pay for all of their nefarious activity. So get yourself out of this bonding. Right? If you want to aspire to climb up the ladder, some of you fucking new age people that are all about the Sufi, while your person is being used, and I use that word, right? There's a difference between a man and a person that most of you, I think by now, have figured out if you watched a few of these, that it's not the same thing. See, and that's the thing. They call a man a person, a legal fiction. They give you multiple names, right? Joe Smith, Smith Joe, let's just say J.B. Smith, all these different names, same thing. It's all a legal fiction. Right? And that you're authorized to represent. So they use many names to confuse you. But the idea is, if you're going to try and level up here, then you all these different names, same thing. It's all a legal fiction. Right? And that you're authorized to represent. So they use many names to confuse you. But the idea is, if you're going to try and level up here, then you can be used as surety for bombs that are bombing children, for bonds that are creating the wealth that creates the bombs that bomb children, for bonds that pay the salaries of men that rape children, for bonds that pay the salaries of men that traffic children, for bonds that, right? I mean, okay, so you need to fucking starve the beast, right? Because a vampire is on your neck and sucking. It feels good, right? In all the movies, that's what you see, right? The women are just like, they're almost ecstatic when that vampire sucks on their neck. Because you get all kind of free stuff. Social Security benefits, and just all kind of free stuff from the state, right? $1,200 checks, which they're getting you to fight over, right? All kind of stuff. Okay, you gotta let all that stuff go and stand on your own 2 feet and govern self. Right? The government is there to assist you. The government is not there to do it all for you. And right now, you've been letting the government do it all for you, and you look around at the world and go, well, this place is fucked up. Yeah, it is. It's also a wonderful place. There's places I can take you where you'd never know it was a fucked up world. But they will come, right? Rivendell, etc. They will come eventually if they find it and fuck it up. But the idea being is that you are the one that are letting them write bonds on you. You are the one that hasn't claimed your estate. You are the one that allows them to take your children or the children of others. Why is that? Because we're fucking lazy and ignorant, which is why they have no qualms about fucking us. Because if we weren't lazy and ignorant, they wouldn't be able to fuck us. That becomes very clear. So you need to write some documents. You need to get one of these things out. Don't use this. I just happen to have one to take notes, when I make mind maps so I can see stuff easily. black or blue or purple. But anyway, this pen right here, mightier than sword. This pen right here, with this pen, you can declare. You can make declarations. With this pen, you can let them know what your will is, right? And your free will must be preserved. And that's in every fucking book, right? And that starts up here in the Constitution. And that's also about preserving your free will, being able to be secure in your papers, being able to, if you do fuck up, you get a right to a speedy trial and you get to face your accuser. First Amendment, though. You have freedom of assembly. You can worship whoever you want to worship, right? And there are some of us that would say maybe you want to worship Christ Jesus, but okay, maybe not. You're also free not to worship anybody at all, right? And that's all sitting there in that Constitution. You don't want to participate, and see, that's the number one thing in you have the right to be left alone. If you're not fucking with anybody, they can't fuck with you. Well, on Maui, they decided that that was not the case anymore, that I could be sitting there minding my own, more than 6 feet away from anybody, and they had the right to approach me, not identify themselves, and try to extort money from me. Let's see where this goes. I may have to start a GoFundMe. Anyway. Let's talk about jurisdiction. I got so much to talk about. There's like 1,001 PDFs to talk about. I'm just having fun. Let's see here. Let's just read a few of these just for the giggles of it. I want to read this one. Slave working. And I got some stuff from Sovereignty International. But understand that the civil law is Roman law, and that basically we're Romans when you get right down to it. It blows my mind, but basically, yes, the Roman Empire is still in effect. The Vatican claims your soul. They also claim to own all the various corporations that you think are nation states. Actually, they don't just claim. It's pretty clear that they do own, because the money eventually winds up in Rome. Let's see here. All statutes are municipal law, Roman law, which is part of the Roman cult. Now, the difference between, you need to understand the difference between code and statute, and what code and statute apply and what code and statute don't apply. And if you're claiming to be part of the United States corporation with that 14th Amendment, you are subject to. Simple. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm reading. We'll come to this. We'll get to this, right? But understand that state citizens are the only ones living under free government whose rights are incapable of impairment by legislation or judicial decision. So maybe you want to be a state citizen. That's Twining v. New Jersey, 211 U.S. 97, 1908. Let's go faster, or slower. Twining, Twining v. New Jersey, 211 U.S. 97, 1908. You can look it up. State citizens are the only ones living under free government whose rights are incapable of impairment or legislation or judicial decision. You ain't no state citizen. State citizenship is a vested substantial property right, and the state has no power to divest or impair these rights. I think you need to understand what those words mean. That's Favett v. Kingsbury, 1929, 98 Cal app. See, and here's how, just type it in, and this is the beauty of it. Even Google will bring it back, right? Just type it and get it, and you'll, anyway. So Favot, Favett v. Kingsbury, just like it sounds. Kings, B-U-R-Y, 1929, and then that's in parentheses, and then 98 CAL period APP period 284 276 P period 1083. All right, so you might want to figure out this state citizen. What is this state citizenship thing? Yeah, it's where you want to be. You want to be outside the U.S. persons. You don't want to be a U.S. person. You don't want to be a chattel property of the United States corporation. You just don't. Find out about Unidroit, the unification of private law, right? Law of merchants and so forth. That's UNIDROIT, Unidroit. 63 countries have adopted it. Canada and the United States have been signatories of Unidroit Treaty for over 30 years. Again, treaty. The Constitution is there to enforce the natural laws and the treaties. But if you don't know about the treaties and you've never read the treaty, how do you claim any rights under those treaties? Let's see here. Unidroit covers negotiable instruments, civil procedure, secured transactions, maintenance obligations, civil liability, legal status of women, contracts in general, banking law, leasing, hotels, transportation. Like there's a whole thing when you check into a hotel. All kinds of stuff are happening there when you sign in. Let's see, franchising, insurance. Let's see here, anything related to marriage, divorce, and children. Municipal law. Right? There's more, but that's the main things, right? So you start to find out about Unidroit and find out that marriage, divorce, and children. Ooh. 63 countries. I don't have all 63 of them, but I can tell you that the United States is one of them. Let's see here. Texas is not listed. Arizona is not listed. No American state is listed. Right? So there is no state that is listed there. It's the United States, not the general states. Well, let's see here. This is important. You're going to start to see where I'm going with this. Maybe you'll start figuring stuff out. Canada and British Columbia not listed, right? No Canadian province is listed. Let's see there. Therefore, anything involving motor vehicles or the courts is both commercial and federal by consent. Right? Again, they have your consent and you don't realize that you've given your consent. So you need to withdraw your consent from some of these things. But you can't just say, I don't consent. You got to let them know you're alive. So number one, you got to know who the 7 heavies are. You got to know who to talk to and what to say. And they'll do stuff to you. And basically your local court can do a whole lot for you, as it turns out. Let's see here. Oh, here's a fun one. The reason for the initial detention, this is just a case that you can, Perkins v. Texas, 812 SW 2nd 326. Perkins v. Texas, 812 SW 2D 326. The reason for the initial detention, speeding and running a red light, are not a breach of the peace. Standing on your square, right? Cause no one any losses. I covered this 1,000 times. Why? Just stay on your square and say, I told my son, I'm on my square. They can't touch me. Right? They can try and touch you, and they can make your life miserable, and so on. But in the long run, they can't touch you. Right? Now, if you step off your square and you cause somebody harm or loss, now they can touch you. We're going to talk about municipal corporations and crime. Yeah, you know what? Skip all that. Let's see here. Oh, understand that we have martial law, and this is not a joke, that it's martial law that's going on here in the United States corporation right now. It has to be when you start to understand what's going on here. Yeah, it's martial law. So you better understand how to get out from underneath the martial law and the Libra Code and all this other stuff. And that basically them is waging. It's not like, well, it kind of sort of is, because you know you wind up dead a lot of times, comply or die. But overall, it's just them using the law to the best of their ability to extract wealth from you in every way, shape, or form. All right, so here I have a great piece of paper here that says the 5 ways to respond to a presentment or draft. 1, honor and acceptance. 2, honor, conditional acceptance. 3, refusal for cause without dishonor. 4, dishonor. And 5, dishonor, straight up refusal, right? And then that 5th way is silence, right? And they do this all the time to you, right? They dishonor you by silencing, right? So it's default by remaining silent. And that's one of the ways you can respond. That's no response is a response. And silence agrees. Anyway, so honor and acceptance. You can accept and carry out performance of the presentment. In other words, wherever I just did with my presentment. What did I just do with that? Oh, there it is, hiding. It's a single. She is single, right? Okay, I can just pay it. Whatever this say that I owe, just go over there and pay it. Honor conditional acceptance, right? Upon the party meeting certain conditions. That's what I'm going to do. Conditional acceptance. I'll pay this if you can show me that there's a law. And anyway, I'm going to do conditional acceptance. And you can show me that he followed procedure, and you can show me this, this, and this. And if he didn't do any of this, we're going to go to small claims, and I'm going to have a fun time. Anyway, 3, refusal for cause without dishonor. No dishonor, but this is an erroneous claim. In other words, it's not me. There's no liability evidenced. And this is pursuant to UCC 3501. And also the California Commercial Code at 3501. Notice the number, right? UCC 3501 and the California Commercial Code 3501. Those numbers are exactly the same, except in the UCC it's 3 dash, and in the California Code it's just 3,501. Okay, anyway, dishonor or refusal. You can argue the issues. Don't do that. Just don't. Now you're a belligerent, right? So you can be, but you can say, like, who are you? What's your authority? I don't owe you that much, you know, so on. Right? But don't do that. Go back up to number 2, where you have conditional acceptance, and say, all right, I'll do it if you can prove that you, I'll do it if you have authority. I'll do it if you, right, can show me this. Let's see here. Let's define presentment according to the UCC, just for fun. A presentment means a demand made, see, many names for this. You call it a ticket, citation, presentment, right? Document, contract, right? They try to use all these different names to confuse you. It's all basically the same concept, right? This is not some edict from on high that you know, anyway. All right, so presentment means a demand made by or on behalf of a person, does it say man or a woman? A person can be a government, a corporate, all right. A person entitled to enforce an instrument. What's an instrument? 1, to pay the instrument made to the drawee. There's a word that you need to know. Or a party, there again, drawee, party, these are words you need to know. Obligated to pay the instrument. Again, you need to know what instrument means. Or in the case of a note, is there a difference between a note and an instrument? Or an accepted draft payable at a bank to the bank, or to accept the draft made to the drawee. So anyway, that's a definition at UCC 3501 of a presentment. Okay, that's A. B, the following rules are subject to Article 4, agreements of the parties and clearinghouse rules and the like. It's literally what it says, and the like. Presentment may be made by at the place of payment of the instrument, and must be made at the place of payment if the instrument is payable at a bank in the United States. May be made by commercially reasonable means, including an oral, written, or electronic communication. It is effective when the demand for payment or acceptance is received by the person to whom presentment is made, and is effective if made by anyone or two of the or more makers, acceptors, drawees, or other payors. And so understand, bailor, bailiff, bailee, and then bailments. What's that all about? Look them up. This is just one. I should bring that whole pile of books from the other room of Chicago Manual of Styles and various law dictionaries and so forth, which you should get. They're all available online, but get yourself hard copies so that you can study the old-fashioned way without electricity if you need to. Upon demand of the person to whom the presentment is made, the person making presentment must, 1, exhibit the, which is why we come back to that simple federal court case that I talked about earlier. Behalf of, which is why we come back to that simple federal court case that I talked about earlier. Let me just find that again and read it to you so that you know. Oh my. Right here. Which is federal case number 6:15-MC00101-EFM, which requires law enforcement officers to provide documents first. See, the idea is the law agrees with itself. We're just ignorant and lazy. Lazy, ignorant slaves that want to drink beer on Friday and not do anything about learning the law. Does that sound like you or me? Sounds like me. Anyway, but see, you got to wake up. Aloha. Knowledge is absolutely power. Anyway, so again, we're going back to UCC 3-501 presentments. All right, so does it say right in there, as clearly in black and white as can be, right? You have to exhibit the instrument, which he did. He showed me the ticket. I'm going to give you this. Put the mask on and I'll walk away. And I'm just like, I can't do it. Anyway, it was amusing. We had a long conversation. We were fist bumping the whole 9 yards, according, right? And they had to break in this. We have this whole thing about social distancing and 6 foot rule. They had to walk through my little area. Like, I didn't make an area, but I mean, it was clear that I was 6 feet away from everybody sitting underneath the coconut tree to give me this instrument. Anyway, give reasonable identification. Never did. And if presentment is made on behalf of another person, that would be the governor or the state. Reasonable evidence of the authority to do so. He never showed me, other than that he showed me his gun and his badge number, but that doesn't show that he had authority. Anyway, and sign the receipt on the instrument of any payment made, or surrender the instrument if in full if payment is made. All right. Without dishonoring the instrument, the party to whom presentment is made may return the instrument, or excuse me, 1, may return the instrument for lack of necessary endorsement, or refuse payment or acceptance for failure of presentment to comply with the terms of the instrument and agreement of the parties or other applicable law or rule. 4, the party to whom presentment is made may treat presentment as occurring on the next business day after the day of the presentment, if the party to whom the presentment is made has established a cutoff hour not earlier than 2 p.m. This happened after 2 p.m. It was a Friday. Monday was a holiday. So technically, my 3-day rescission period would have started on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? And I could have gone down there and said, I don't, right, that I, we're not contracting in the rescission period, but instead I need to go talk to a judge. So, but any traffic ticket, you can do that. You can go down there within 3 days and tell them that you're exercising your 3-day right of rescission, and never sign. I didn't sign. I put no contract, and I stamped it UCC 1308. Anyway, let's go back to UCC 2207. Additional terms in acceptance or confirmation. Conditional acceptance, which is commonly called the battle of forms. Learn about conditionally accepting, right? That's one of the ways you can respond to a presentment. So you can conditionally accept, and I'll just put this whole document underneath here, but basically you must respond. You must either accuse of not doing, not following protocol or procedure, deny that you're doing anything wrong, state your intent, make your determination, make your demand, state your authority to make such demand, set a time limit, make sure that you change their presumptions, and notify the agents or bosses of the general government in a response letter. In other words, you can't stand silent. You can't just sit there and hope everything goes okay, right? Or that you're going to walk into court and they're going to do the right thing because, you're right, right? All right, we'll skip that. And now let's go to there, because this thing goes on and on and on. I'll put it below. Hopefully it'll be there. Jurisdiction. So this comes from Sovereignty International out of Fort Worth, Texas. I'll put that here. It's a PDF that you can download. Let's see here. First off, Elephant in his little presentation, I'm not a lawyer. You should never take my word for anything. And this is a perfect disclaimer for all of you, for all my videos all the time, right? I'm not a lawyer, so this is not legal advice. You should never take my word for anything. You should always do your own damn research, which is why I read all this stuff to you and write down the case numbers and every fucking thing you could possibly want to be able to look this stuff up for yourselves. And like I said, never, ever stick shit in your documents that you don't know what it means. I mean, to the point where there are people so stupid they don't even know what without prejudice means. I think it has to do with race and color and so forth. Anyway, I have provided references below and here, verbally and orally, and a lot of times I write them down. Do we want to talk about this? This whole thing. Judicial notice. Again, when you give judicial notice, you're giving them notice. It's not judicial, maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't. You're noticing them. Right? Stare decisis. This has already been decided. And I have the authority to reclaim my estate. I'm certainly not the first one. I have the authority to claim my place as an elector. I'm certainly not the first one, right? But they're always going to try and make you think that you're the first person that's ever done this and that you're crazy. I'm hearing all kind of fun stuff outside. Yet more sirens. I'm sure my microphone isn't picking them up, but I can hear them off in the distance. It's a lovely Saturday morning. What the hell, people? Try to maintain. And see, and that's the other thing. These poor police officers, and I won't say they're poor police officers. They got it, they knew what they were getting into, and some of them didn't know what they were getting into. But I mean, true story. Up the street, I hear this woman in the middle of the night screaming, getting beat. You can hear she's getting beat, right? So I don't call the cops. I'm not the kind of guy that calls the cops on anybody for any reason at all. But it's still going on after a few minutes, and finally, I pick up a stick and I literally start walking up the street to the house. Okay, halfway up there, cops go by, right? So I turn around and come back. They'll handle it, right? Do you think those cops are happy to walk into, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sure these people are drunk and there's violence going on, and they got to get in there and try not to, right? I mean, there's a job you don't want. I have many friends that are police officers, many friends from when I was a child. I have friends that are sheriffs. I have friends that are prosecuting attorneys. I have friends that are judges. I have friends that, I have all kinds of friends in the NSA and FBI and U.S. Marshals, all them guys. But the idea being is that, somebody's got to control these freaking peasants, right? Because they get out of control because they will not stay on their square. They're drunk and lazy. They don't read this stuff. And the only time they do read this stuff is if they get in trouble. See, now, I've created a controversy. Apparently now, in the state of Hawaii, sitting underneath a fucking coconut tree is a controversy, right? Wherein police officers think they have the right to come and approach me and try to extract wealth from me for breaking the governor's rules, right? All right, let's see how this goes. I'm not afraid. I'm curious. All right, but if you don't know your basic rights and freedoms, how the fuck do you claim your basic rights and freedoms? Right? How do you even know if they're infringing upon them? Right? The people here understand that and I descend from these people, Moors, on my father's side, and I'll tell you directly, I was born in Illinois. My father was born in New York. His father was born in Alabama. His father was born in Alabama. His father was born in Alabama. His father, right? Okay. Moors. We lost. We got enslaved. Simple as that. The colonizers came in, knocked over the Iroquois nation, all the other nations around the Great Lakes and so forth, stole their constitution basically, and enslaved them. How did they enslave them? They figured out that if you tell the fucking slaves they're slaves, they get a little pissy. So you don't fucking tell the slaves they're slaves. You bond them quietly. Before they even have the ability to know what's going on. And then you stick them in a fucking state school and tell them everything's cool. That's what you do. And it's worked. You erase their history. You rewrite their history for them. You revise the history. You turn the one team into good guys and you turn the other team into savages that didn't even fucking know what to do with their land. That story stood for the longest time. Right? And Columbus discovered the place. There was nobody here already. Anyway, all right. So, am I lying to you people? Right? I mean, is this crazy talk? I don't think this is crazy talk. I think you guys need to do some fucking reading. Simple as that. That's what I think. All right. So I'm trying to give you the information that you need because I've done a lot of this research and see many of our minds get together and we can start to do this, right? If there were more electors, things would be different. If there were more people that could stand on their square and do what's right, there wouldn't be screaming children in the fucking Middle East because of the bombs that we paid for, right? All you fucking, it's not my government. And fuck yeah, you're right. It's not your government, but they're still using you to pay for everything via your tax, via your bonding, right? And you're paying the salaries of these fuckers to stand there and smirk at you. And I see fucking Nancy Pelosi and all of them, AOC. But on the other side too, I mean, anyway, many of them, they're not your friends. And it becomes very, very clear, as we had said in the past, AG Barr is a fixer, right? That attorney general, Trump gave him all the information he needed, and to declass and to go after these people, and he ain't going after them. Go take a look at Barr's history. He's a fixer. That's all he is. You guys thinking that Trump's going to put her away and Trump's going to save the day and then no. And some of it, Trump actually wants to do stuff like bring our troops home and stop these stupid foreign wars and make treaties that are especially trade agreements that are beneficial to both sides, not just one side or the other. Because many of those trade agreements, go back and look at some of the trade agreements. I mean, even our fucking friends in Canada, they were fucking us, like fucking us. And they're so polite though, right? Our Canadian friends. Anyway, but I mean, fucking our farmers, fucking our manufacturing, just putting crazy Chinese for damn sure, and the Europeans with their fucking climate accords and all that kind. Anyway, he got us all that stuff. They hate him. Oh fuck, they hate him. My God, they hate him. You don't understand how badly they hate him, but he's still part of the right. Left wing, right wing, same bird.